I've been running into a lot of people who are saying they're going to sit out on the election or they're just going to do a write-in ballot. This election, if you sit out or just do a write-in, all you're doing, you might as well just write Barack Obama into that ballot, because that's where your vote is inadvertently going to go. No matter what protest you think you're accomplishing or what kind of ease of conscience, you will literally be signing the death certificate to this republic. Obamacare has to be repealed. If Obamacare is not repealed, everything that we know as a nation is going to change. One of the biggest tax increases in world history follows in the heels of Obamacare, and still leaving 30 million people uninsured. General Motors and the takeover, and everyone hails that as some great achievement. Well, if you send $23 billion that can never be repaid or will never be repaid, sure, you can save just about any industry when you're throwing that much money at it. See, there's no secret to what Obama's going to do when he has his last 4 years. He is going to further diminish America's power on the world stage, cut back on our defenses, and make us vulnerable. See, we really don't know what we're going to get if we vote for Mitt Romney. We can only kind of guess because there are certain areas where he has flopped. But one thing is for sure, we know exactly what we're going to get with Barack Obama. He has never truly hidden it. He just has the media on his side not to expose it. Perhaps the collapse of America is something some of you want to happen, so you can live out some Red Dawn fantasy where you can run around with all the weapons that you've saved up to scream Wolverine. And those are the people I won't even attempt to convince or try to talk to, because they live in a fantasy land. They want this Armageddon to happen and have no concept of when you have a vacuum of power, there is always a form of power that will take its place. And in most examples of history, that power usually comes in the form of tyrannical power. Those aren't the people that I'm talking about. I'm talking to people with some common sense, and people who think, and people who know the seriousness of where we stand right now in this nation's history. And this is it. This is going to be the deciding factor of how this nation continues and whether we uphold the values that our forefathers have set in stone in our Constitution, in our Declaration of Independence, and in our Bill of Rights.
Hold on to your wallet if Obama's elected. That's what we'll talk about in today's lunch video. I want to spell out for you exactly what Obama will do to our taxes if he's reelected for a second term. And after you've heard this video, don't just sit on it. Send it to everybody you know, because this they all need to see, particularly if they're considering not voting to get rid of Obama. So let's say that you and your spouse make $250,000 together. First thing he's going to do is raise your tax rate from 35% to 40%. So that's $12,500 extra that you're going to have to pay in taxes. Then, right now, you're only paying Social Security taxes on the first $106,000 of your income. He's going to apply to your entire income. So that's going to be about another $8,000 you're going to have to pay in taxes. We're up to a little over $20,000. He's going to eliminate the state and local tax deduction. So let's say you're in a state with an 8% state income tax, state and city or whatever combined. You now can deduct it. You're not going to be able to deduct it. That's about $7,500 extra dollars. So we're now at about $28,000. And let's say you have a mortgage of $2,000 a month on your home, $25,000 a year. You can now deduct it. You're not going to be able to deduct it anymore. You're going to lose approximately $8,000 on that. So put it together, you're at about $37,000 to $40,000 in extra taxes that you will have to pay if you make $250,000 and Obama is reelected. Literally, we're talking about a 40% increase in your tax rate. Now, if you make less than $250,000, you'll still have to pay a higher percentage of your income, and you'll still have to pay the FICA tax. Let's say that you make $150,000, you and your spouse together. Right now, you're only paying Social Security on the first $100,000. He's going to raise it to the first $150,000. So that's about $4,000 extra right there that you're going to have to pay. And he'll also reduce the amount of deductions you can take on your mortgage interest, your state and local taxes, and your charitable contributions. So even if your mortgage is, let's say, $1,500 a month, he'll only permit you to deduct about half of that. So that'll be another $4,000 or $5,000 you'll have to pay, another $4,000 or $5,000 in state taxes. So if you're making about $150,000, Obama's going to cost you $15,000 a year. If you're making $250,000, he's going to cost you $40,000 a year. That's the price of getting him reelected. And this is not just predictions. This is stuff that is in legislation that he's filed, programs he's recommended, the Bowles-Simpson Commission, which he appointed. Absolute, total fiasco. And then, if you sell your home and you make more than $250,000, you're not going to be able to exempt yourself from the capital gains tax, which you can now. You're going to have to pay capital gains on everything that you make. And on top of that, he's going to raise the capital gains tax from 20% to 30%. So 15% to 30%. So really, just in the simple math of things, this is going to be the most mammoth tax increase ever. It's going to cut so deeply into our lives. Please, please, please show this video to anyone who is undecided. I have a bunch of friends who are real, wealthy liberal Democrats, and I went through this with them and scared the daylights out of them. And it's then that I decided to do a video on this today and send it around to everybody. Please circulate this widely.